Hi everybody, this is Brad Rourke, and you are watching In the Band, which is available at intheband.bradrourke.com. And this is a video that goes along with a blog post at that blog, so I highly recommend it. I'm going to talk to you today about what is on my pedal board. Here is my pedal board, and there are pictures on the blog, but this is it. It's got a Boss tuner, a Boss EQ pedal, a Rat distortion pedal, an MXR micro amp, an MXR carbon copy delay, and a Voodoo Labs tremolo. And I thought what I would do today is just let you hear what each of those things sounds like. So the first thing is you can't hear the tuner. It's actually my favorite pedal on the board. Because not only is it a good tuner, and it's critical to stay in tune. If you're gigging, your guitar goes out of tune all the time, so that's important. But what's also important about this tuning pedal is that it mutes the sound. So if you're in trouble, if things are going wrong, there's feedback that you don't want, whatever, you can just hit it, and you can't hear. See, all you can hear is my strings. But move this over here. If you probably can't see the pedal, but you can hear it. But now you can hear it. So I just made this pedal board, by the way, out of a piece of wood that I found in someone's trash. I put some strips of Velcro on it, and the first thing I do when I get a new pedal is I turn it over and I put Velcro on the bottom. So so I can't use these pedals on like just a floor because they'll slide all over, but on a pedal board or any sort of, or on carpet even, they work great. So I don't use these pedals much. I actually, most of the time, it's like guitar, chord, amp. But I will use them a few times in every set, and I'll use them at different times. So the first one in the signal path is my EQ pedal. You can hear my guitar as sort of a warm sound. There are some of my songs, some of the songs that we play in the band, that I want sort of more of a jangly kind of sound. So you can do a lot with an EQ pedal. You can, you know how it has little sliders, right? You can bump up the middle part and make it really cut through on leads. You can use it just as an overall boost and keep everything flat. What I do is I sort of scoop out the middle range, boost the high, and I boost the low, the high more than the low. And so what I get is this kind of jangly sound. That's without. That's with. So, you know, you can play a song, and that sounds a lot better to my ear than. It just depends on the song, but you know, I can get a good jangle with it. I don't play lead very often. I'm mostly a rhythm player. But when I do play lead, I rely on my Rat. You can totally hear it when I engage it. This is the pedal that created 1980s hair band music. It came out in the 80s, the Proco Rat. It's built like a tank. It can provide like incredible amounts of sort of gnarly, gritty distortion. You know, there's later distortion pedals that go even further, but this is like, you know, you got people who are in camps. You've got like the tube screamer folks who what they're trying to do is mimic the sound of a tube amp turned up. In that breakup, right, and which is a great sound. I love that sound, don't get me wrong. And you've got like the over-the-top distortion guys who are, you know, like they just want to do, you know, the death metal sound. And I like to do a lead. I like it to be heard, but I don't like it to be too over the top. So I go for the Rat. And you know, the other thing I gotta say is I just love the name, the Rat. It just, you know, it sounds cool. It feels cool being down here on the floor at my feet. Now, right after the Rat, I've got a boost pedal, the MXR micro amp boost, and all it does is it increases volume. It can be really useful if you're playing at a low volume. See how the difference is But I don't really use it for that so much. What I use it for is when I'm already playing at a high volume. I can just sort of thicken the sound, make it pop out a little bit more from all the other loud sounds in the band, and it can really push if I'm going nuts on a lead, which I rarely do because I'm not that good a player. But if I want like just a certain extra oomph, I can engage the micro amp and well, just check it out. Do that without the micro amp. It's just great. Now, and I'm always going to keep this pedal forever and ever, in part because I understand Jack White uses one, so if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. Now, more often though, we're like a sort of a mellow, quiet band, straight ahead rock and roll, so the next two pedals are really important. We're like an Americana band. I've got a delay, like a lot of people do on their pedal board, and nowadays most delays are digital delays, which means each echo is an exact duplicate of the echo before. This is an analog delay, which means that instead of using computer circuitry, it uses analog circuitry, and each echo is a little different than the one before, and it gives it sort of a more what they call a vintage sound. To my ear, I just like it. I don't have it on like insane sort of U2 The Edge kind of amazing over the top echo. It's sort of a there's like 5 or 6 echoes that you can hear. Let me boost it a little bit so you can hear it better. Now you might think that would be like sort of like a harsh kind of sound, but when you've got that behind you and like you're doing some light picking, it can really fill out the sound. So, for instance, there's a song that starts out with me just sort of arpeggiating, and I'll usually have the echo on for that because it sort of fills things up and gives it a little more drama. See, I think that's a little more interesting than... And this is pleasant too, but I just like to have that sound filled out a little bit more. Now, being an Americana band, we cannot get away without having some tremolo in our sound. I don't use it very often, but probably once a set. But I got to use it, and so tremolo is that sound where the volume goes up and down. So some of my amps have that built in. This one does not. Even though I love this amp, it's a Mesa Lone Star Special. I'm going to do a blog post about this one too. But so anyway, there's a lot of tremolo pedals out there. I like this one. It's hard to find. It's by Voodoo Labs. It does your basic tremolo, but there's a couple of things that I like. One is that when you engage a tremolo, often your apparent volume will go down because you go from everything's at this certain volume, and suddenly you've got these gaps in volume, which that's the tremolo effect, and the perceived loudness goes down because there's less overall noise. The Voodoo Labs tremolo has a volume knob that you can turn up the tremolo. So that when you engage it, the overall volume is actually higher, so the apparent volume is what it should be. And the other is that you can adjust the depth and shape of the tremolo wave, which isn't an important thing, but it's something that I like. Anyway, come to the blog intheband.bradrourke.com and let me know what you have on your pedal board. What am I missing? What should I look at? I've looked at a lot of things, and this is what works for me. I don't have a chorus pedal. I don't have a compression pedal. I haven't found them to be necessary. But I'd love to hear what gear you like and what you use. So come on to intheband.bradrourke.com. Thanks for listening.